Hi guys, thanks so much for turning on this video. I'm going to show you how to divide polynomials, except this time I'm going to show you a new method called synthetic division. You're going to have to follow really carefully because it may be something that you have not seen before, but I think you'll really like it. So here is our problem, and the only thing I want to point out to you first before we begin is that it's super important for you to know that you can only use synthetic division if the expression that you are dividing by is either x plus a number or x minus a number. Now, of course, that x could be any variable, but it can't have a number, a coefficient directly before x, because synthetic division does not work in that case. But if you are ready, I am ready, and let me show you how to work this first example. When we're doing synthetic division, the first thing you're going to do is we need to set up the problem, and the first thing you're going to do is you're going to draw, I call it a corner. It's a backwards L in the upper left side of your page, and then you're going to put the value that would make x plus 5 equals 0. Or you could just think of it as the opposite number of positive 5 would be negative 5. So the opposite, you're going to put that in the corner. Okay. Next, you are going to list out the coefficients in descending order from this first polynomial. Now it's important, I said something about descending order, that the exponents are in descending order, and that there's not a place value that's missing. There's another video that you need to watch when you come across a polynomial that, let's say, didn't have the x to the first exponent, and I'll show you that one on another video. But right now they're in order, so the highest exponent is the x squared term. It has a coefficient of 1, and then we have a coefficient of 6, and then positive 15. Then you're going to skip a space, and we're going to draw a straight line, straight horizontal line. Okay, now the problem is officially set up. It looks really different than the kind of division that you may be used to, but let's get started. The very first step is you are going to take the coefficient of the first term. You are simply going to drop it down to below this line. Okay. Next, you're going to take the number that's in the corner, multiply it times the number underneath the line, and put the answer underneath the 6. Okay, ready? So negative 5 times 1 is negative 5. Okay, next we are going to add these two numbers together. So I'm going to circle our little addition sign. 6 plus negative 5 is positive 1. Okay, then that cycle starts again. We're going to take the corner number, we're going to multiply it times the number underneath the line. It's just coincidence that it happens to be another 1 here. Negative 5 times 1 is negative 5. We are going to add again, and 15 plus negative 5 is 10. Okay, so now we have the numbers 1, 1, and 10. All right. Always the very last number, I draw another corner, and I want you guys to do the same. So we've kind of cornered in 10. Always this last number is going to be the remainder. So I'm going to write remainder. Okay, so take a look at the numbers that we have that are not our remainder. We have a 1 and a 1. These two 1s will be coefficients to our answer, but they're missing the variables, which was x in this problem. And so we have to reassign the variable places to each of these coefficients. So I want you to take a look back at what you were originally dividing into, because you are always going to start with 1 degree or exponent lower then the highest exponent. So since this problem, the highest exponent was an x squared, we're going to start with x to the first power, and we're going to insert it right here. And this was a positive one, so we'll go ahead and put a positive right here. And the next one would be x to the 0 power, which anything raised to the 0 power is 1, so it's not needed. And so I want to rewrite all of this, and I think then it will look more like an answer that you're used to. This would be x plus 1, and then I want you to write the remainder in fraction form. So this is a positive 10 over your divisor, which was x plus 5. So it's kind of an ugly answer, but it's the correct answer. This is x plus 1 plus 10 over x plus 5. Okay guys, let's try that again with number 2. Let me walk you through again how to set up a synthetic division problem. The first thing I want you to do in the upper left-hand corner is draw a corner, backwards L, and then the opposite of -1, or the value that makes this expression x minus 1 equals 0, which this case would be a positive 1. And then as long as these terms are in descending order, which they are on this example, I want you to put those coefficients. I want you to maintain descending order and put the coefficients in order. Okay? And then I want you to draw the horizontal line, making sure you skip a space. Okay, and we are ready to start the problem. The very first step in synthetic division is to take the first coefficient and drop it below this horizontal line. Okay? Then I want you to take the corner number, multiply it times this number below the line, and put the answer in the spot directly underneath the -6. 1 times 1 is 1. Then we're going to add -6 plus 1 is -5. And that's the pattern. We're going to repeat that pattern a few more times. Corner number 1 times -5 is -5. We will add those together, 11 plus -5 to get 6. 1 times 6 is positive 6. We'll add those together to get 0. So we have the numbers 1, -5, 6, and 0. Always the last number, even if it's a 0, I want you to draw a corner around that number. That becomes our remainder. So in this case, we don't have a remainder. Okay, we have the numbers 1, -5, and 6. Now we need to reassign the correct variable that goes with each of these coefficients. And just like I said in the last example, you're going to start with the degree 1 less than the highest degree of the expression that you divided into. So x cubed was the highest degree, so this first coefficient will be labeled as the x squared coefficient. The -5 will be the x to the first coefficient, which you can just put x. The 6 will be our constant. It's x to the 0 power, but we don't need to write it. And then our remainder is 0. So I'm just going to rewrite this in a way that your professor would probably appreciate better. Your answer is going to be x squared minus 5x, and because this was a positive 6, we'll put a plus 6. Okay, now it's your turn. I want you to pause this video and try some of these on your own.